been having the same issue with my flights. I booked them through American Airlines, not Qantas, which is like the Australian like sister airline. And like now I have to pay to choose my seats because I booked it through the wrong airline. So extra cost, which is always good. Yeah.
When are you, speaking of flights, when are you coming out?
We're headed out on the 19th of July. So a week and a half-ish now.
Are you excited?
Yeah, really excited. I feel like it doesn't feel real yet. Like, I don't know. I don't think it will till I get on the plane.
You're a rookie too.
Yeah, first year. Very exciting.
How long have you been doing CrossFit?
I started CrossFit properly in like early 2020. I did a beginner's like on-ramp course at the gym I still go to, Wolfden CrossFit, in like late 2019. And then I decided I still wanted to do gymnastics, so I went back to gymnastics for a little bit longer, and then I decided, no, I like CrossFit better, so I came back and started CrossFit like Feb 2020, and I haven't looked back.
Wow. How old were you at that point?
I was, oh gosh, almost 18. I was like about to turn 18 when I started. Yeah.
And what point did you realize that you had the potential to make it to the games in that journey?
I think I always wanted to go to the games. I wanted to go to the games before I even started CrossFit. I know it's, now that I think about it and I say it out loud, I'm like, oh, that's so embarrassing that I said that. But like, when I was 15, my dad put the 2017 games on the TV, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to the CrossFit Games. And that was obviously the year like Tia and Cara were up top. So to see like two Aussies up the top was cool. And then obviously I didn't start CrossFit from there for like another 2.5 years. But I don't think it really set in that I could make the games till maybe like last year at semis, but probably more recently, like even quarterfinals this year. Like I thought it would be probably another couple of years away.
At semifinals last year, how did you finish?
I came 18th. So I was, yeah, obviously, and like Oceania usually takes top 3, but this year was top 4, which we got lucky. So yeah, I guess coming 18th last year, like I knew the games was still my goal, but I thought, okay, maybe it's still a couple of years away. Like let's keep training hard and see if we can get there. But then after quarterfinals, I came 4th, and I was like, oh, like, you know, I really could do this year. Like, not that changed my outlook going into semis at all, but it definitely gave me that bit more hope that like that could be the case.
And then what did you take in semis?
I came 3rd.
3rd. Okay.
Yeah.
So 4th in quarterfinals and then 3rd in semis.
Yeah.
That's a great.
It was a fun weekend for sure.
What was your favorite event?
I think it was the legless rope climb one.
Really?
Yeah, I've put a lot of work into those in the past year. And to see it pay off like that was pretty cool. And it was just fun. Like the crowd was crazy. I was in the last heat, which to be honest, that was my goal going into the weekend, was just to like stay in the last heat. And I don't know, it was electric. And one of my good training partners, she was also in the heat with me. So it sort of just felt like our regular training Saturday session. We're having fun, and yeah, it was a good way to spend Saturday, that's for sure.
Is she still your training partner currently?
Yeah. She is. So it's Wednesday here today. She usually comes on a Wednesday, so she's down for the whole day today. I'll meet her in like an hour at the gym. And the funny thing is, her name's Haley Adams. So I joke that I'm gonna know 2 Haley Adams now. So because I'm actually headed to Mayhem, to Cookville for 2 weeks. So I'll spend some time there training before we head out to Texas.
With Haley Adams.
Exactly.
Have you met the other Haley Adams yet?
No, I haven't, but I'm sure I will in cross paths.
Is your training partner Haley Adams coming out to the games?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, she'd love to, but it's a big trip for us Aussies to make. So she'll be at home cheering.
Do you follow Mayhem then? That's your programming camp?
Yeah, followed Mayhem pretty much since the start. I mean, here in Australia, we went into like COVID lockdown for such a long time. So I don't know what we were doing back then, but like pretty much when we came back into the gym became a Mayhem affiliate. So like even like the classes do Mayhem stuff, but that's when we sort of started following the Mayhem compete track and have just been doing it ever since.
So your gym does the affiliate programming, the Mayhem
Yeah,
affiliate programming, and you're
yeah.
following the compete. Do you like it? I mean, not that obviously you like it.
I mean, if I didn't like it, I probably would have changed to do something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, nah, it's really good. And they're super supportive and always, respond to any queries or questions I have.
Who's your coach? Do you have a
Um, I don't really have a coach. I have like a couple people in my corner that are like helping me. So obviously Mayhem does my programming. But I have a guy at my gym named Zach, and he just tweaks things for me. He does like a bit more of like that weakness programming for me. So he's my like coach per se. But I also have another guy at the gym. He's actually the affiliate owner. His name's Rico. And he's like my mental coach, but also like my main training partner. So he like gets my coach's pass when we go to semis or any other comps, and he'll have my coach's pass at the games because he's just like that, like calming presence. Tells me what I want to hear and keeps me grounded on those like nerve-wracking events.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah.
And the games will be incredibly nerve-wracking. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You said something about weaknesses, works on weakness. What are some weaknesses that you have?
Um, I guess just being pretty new to the sport, I think comes with a lot of people is like strength. So my overall strength still needs work, and like I guess that's just a work in progress. But also like my upper body pressing is still coming along slowly. I guess those are the main two things.
Have you ever done Cindy? The benchmark?
Um, I know what Cindy is.
You've never, yeah, that's good because Luke Parker did not.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, but I did.
um, yeah, no, I don't think I've actually ever done Cindy, but we've done like so many variations of like, strict Cindy rounds and things. But I think if I ever did Cindy, it would have been like in the first few weeks of CrossFit, and like my score would have been like 10. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever done it or done it recently enough to know what my score would be.
What about Fran?
That's actually the same. I've only ever done Fran twice. Um, the first time I did Fran was one of the first ever CrossFit classes I did. And I did it with an empty bar and kipping pull-ups. And lucky I could do kipping pull-ups because I was a gymnast for so long. But I don't know what my time was, but it would have been like quite long. That's for sure.
That's a hell of an intro to CrossFit. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then the other thing about that was what made it worse was it was just me and my brother in the class. Like usually the classes are packed and, you have people cheering you on and whatnot, but it was just my brother and I in the class suffering through Fran. So that was fun.
Does your
And
brother?
then,
Sorry.
you go. You go.
Does your brother still do CrossFit?
I try to convince him to come back, but he's set in his ways. He likes Xbox more these days.
That's funny.
He plays like Australian rules football and prefers to like hang out with his mates now. But I think he'll come back eventually. He's in that like I'm too cool for CrossFit phase.
Is he younger?
Yeah, he's about to turn 18.
Oh yeah, he's just a little kid still.
Yeah.
He'll find it. He'll return.
He definitely will.
Are they coming out to the games? Your family?
Yeah, mum, dad, and my brother, they'll meet us out in Texas that week of, and they'll spend the week in Texas with us.
Have you ever been to Cookeville?
No, I've never been to Cookeville, but we've been to the States a couple times before.
Okay.
We've got some family over there, so we'll actually go and visit them the week after the games in Atlanta.
Did you see the run swim announcement?
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I was really hoping there'd be a swim, so that was a good thing to wake up to this morning.
Are you a good swimmer?
I'd like to think so. it's hard to know because I've never competed against this field, and I've never done a swimming event at a CrossFit, competition. But I spent most of high school swimming through school, but gymnastics sort of took over a bit. But yeah, my partner, he's like an ex-elite swimmer, so he likes to keep me working hard when we go do our swimming sessions together as well.
If you have that swimming background that you just described, you're probably at least in the top third of the field, I'd imagine, swimming, because a lot of people don't have a background in swimming at all. So I have to
Yeah,
keep you fine.
hopefully.
How about running? How are you at running?
I guess again, it's hard to know relative to the field, but I enjoy running.
Well, how'd you do at the semifinal running event?
I came 8th in our field.
Okay. Did you feel like the weight was, well, I mean, 8th's great, but do you feel like it was more the weight was the issue or the running?
No, the weight was fine. It wasn't really the weight. It was more just that combined fatigue. Like you're so out of breath, it's hard to get back to the bar and pick it up again. I think it was more the running and a little bit the heat, to be honest, as well. I'm from Victoria, so it's quite cold at this time of year, and we're up in Queensland, so it wasn't hot as like Texas hot, but it was definitely a bit of a shock. That's for sure.
Well, before we go, do you have any questions for me?
I did think of one question for you because I've been watching these interviews. They've been really good. I've been enjoying them.
Thank you.
My question for you is, what would you rate as your the most iconic CrossFit Games moment ever?
Oof, the most iconic CrossFit Games moment ever. It's interesting when you say that. A few moments passed through my mind. One, because I thought about it and talked about it earlier, was the churning around of the athletes at the 2020 games at the ranch, making them do that second lap, because it was something we could never do anywhere else. We couldn't do that with 40 people. We couldn't do that with the big production. So that was pretty unique. I also, when you ask that right now, the other thing that flashed through my mind was the first ever event. And that's what I saw when you said that. And only because I had no idea what that meant at the time. I had no idea that first event we did at the CrossFit Games was going to lead to this thing and where we are now, and people like you dedicating their lives to compete and qualify to the CrossFit Games. So it's those two things, pop out to me as powerful moments in the history of the games for me, for sure. And there's so many moments inside of the Coliseum, inside of Madison, that were powerful. And honestly, even when I say that, not that it's a positive, but something that pops through my mind is watching Brooke's elbow, break when it broke. I know it's bad, but that's just what popped to my mind right now. So I have a lot of moments like that might not necessarily be the typical iconic moment for a fan or for an athlete, just because I'm viewing it from a very different lens. And on that, I also don't necessarily view the events from a spectator lens. I'm very much viewing them from my role, organizing and making sure everything is working, making sure the test is performing the way I want it to, relative to what I had planned. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's cool to hear. But I guess iconic can mean it can mean lots of different things. It could be funny, it could be excellent to watch, it could be long, it could be anything. So my dad and I were actually revisiting some old CrossFit Games events on the TV last night, and we watched 2010 when you guys did Amanda, and we watched Jason Khalipa's famous blow up, and for me that was pretty iconic, watching him sort of chase the cameraman with the barbell. And
that definitely was. Both Amanda events we did were incredibly iconic. The first because she was a games athlete who had just passed, and then when we moved to Madison, the first event we did inside the Coliseum there was also Amanda. It was a little bigger version, but even that and the race that we had there and the visual of it was pretty iconic. So those are also other moments that are incredibly powerful. But the first one back in 2010, besides Jason blowing up, also just related to that athlete who I knew, and we were celebrating her. That was pretty powerful.
Yeah, for sure. Some people were predicting Amanda at this year's games, given it's a new venue. Have you got
That's a
anything to say about that?
good idea. I mean, I think it would be cool to do something like that again. It's a great test. So
For sure.
it's it's a well-rounded. It was basically an expression of the way we viewed it back then when we programmed it was like a ramped up version of Fran, and so a little more complex, a little heavier, and then the inverted of the movement. So I really like that one.
Great test for sure.
Yep. Well, Daisy, thank you for the time and thank you for the interview. I look forward to seeing you in Dallas or Fort Worth, and have a good trip out.
Thanks so much for having me. I'll see you there.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.